Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back for the ABCs of Horror Challenge with my review of Gamer. The ABCs of Horror is a challenge in which we go from A to Z. With each letter of the alphabet, we pick a horror movie that begins with that letter, watch it, and review it. We must go in order, and we cannot skip any letters. And of course, since it's the ABCs of horror, all of the movies must be horror. Now, with that being said, you might be questioning, is Gamer a horror film? Well, in the very first video of this challenge, when I reviewed my movie beginning with the letter A, I specifically said horror is somewhat subjective. There are limits, of course. I don't think anyone's watching American Pie claiming it's a horror movie. But for the most part, if you consider a movie horror, then it's horror. There are plenty of films that cross over into multiple genres, and Gamer is definitely one of them. At first glance, many people will probably say Gamer is an action film. There are those who might see it as more sci-fi. Most fans would probably have no problem calling it a thriller. But regardless of all that, Gamer absolutely has horror elements. As a matter of fact, I'd go as far as saying I don't even consider Gamer to be an action movie with horror elements. I consider it to be an action-packed horror film. Look at The Terminator, for example, or even Predator. A lot of people consider those movies to be action films, but I say they're horror. Gamer is another example of this. The marketing was a bit misleading, as is this cover. It's the truly terrifying concept of the film that makes it horror. Look at it this way. For those of you who have already seen Gamer, let's take away the guns and replace them with knives. Is it more of a horror movie now? If that were the case, it would have more in common with the movie Slashers. No one is denying that Slashers is a horror film. But again, it's the concept of Gamer that makes it scary. That's what makes it a horror movie. I'm not saying all this to convince you, though. I don't have to convince you. I believe Gamer is a horror movie, and this is my review in the ABCs of Horror Challenge. I just think it's an interesting topic, which is one of the reasons I chose this film. Obviously, I've arrived at the letter G in the ABCs of Horror, and G is for Gamer. Released in 2009, Gamer stars Gerard Butler, surrounded by an amazing cast. It includes Michael C. Hall, Ludacris, the beautiful Amber Valletta, Kira Sedgwick, Logan Lerman, Allison Lohman from Drag Me to Hell, Terry Crews, Aaron Yu from Disturbia and the Friday the 13th remake, former UFC fighter Keith Jardine, Milo Ventimiglia, Zoe Bell, John Leguizamo, Keith David, Ashley Rickards from the TV show Awkward, Efren Ramirez, and even Lloyd Kaufman makes an appearance. Even with the incredible cast I just listed, I didn't even name the cast members that drew me to this film in the first place. Do you guys remember the show Movie Mob on Reel's channel? It premiered in 2007, I believe, and featured online movie reviewers. Basically, people like us on YouTube who would go to the theater to watch new movies and then review them on the show. Typically, there were 2 movies reviewed each episode. Well, my favorite reviewers on Movie Mob were the Britt twins. Their real names are Nikita and Jade Ramsey. At the time, I had no idea they were actresses in other things, The first thing I knew they would be appearing in was Gamer. I knew it would just be a small role for each of them, but I was still intrigued, and I wanted to see this right away. Then I saw the trailer, which definitely hooked me in. It used the song Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson, which gets me pumped. I'm happy to say the movie also utilizes the song twice. That's not always the case with movies and their trailers. Sometimes a song is used in the trailer, but then doesn't appear in the actual film. But going back to the Brit twins, they are the ones who attracted me to Gamer. Then, when the movie was released, I was even more thrilled to find that they're naked in it. Talk about a nice surprise. They went from the Brit twins to the you get it. Needless to say, that was worth the price of admission. In addition to that, there is a lot of nudity in Gamer. In fact, IMDb lists the nudity as severe. It's graphic, gratuitous, and frequent. So, what's Gamer about? I'll give you a brief synopsis. In the not-so-distant future, society is being controlled by the richest man in the world, played by Michael C. Hall. Boy, oh boy, what a great villain he is, too. He developed a process of replacing human brain cells with nanocells. With this, people can literally be controlled from afar. He bails out worldly debts in exchange for complete control, and society just eats it up. He creates a reality game show called Society. It's basically a real-life version of The Sims. People can take jobs as the controlled subjects, and gamers pay to control those people. They can do literally whatever they want with them. They say what the gamer wants them to say. They dress or undress the way the gamer wants them to dress. And they do what the gamer wants them to do. This game of Society shows us a dystopian future of depravity and degradation. The scary part is, it seems very realistic. It is almost certain the game would play out in real life like it does in the movie. Our wealthy villain, whose name is Castle, by the way, also creates Slayers. It's another reality game show in which death row inmates battle it out for survival. If any of them can survive 30 rounds of Slayers, they will be allowed to go free. Of course, in order to succeed, they must kill everyone around them who is trying to kill them. Gerard Butler plays John Tillman, who goes by the nickname Cable in Slayers. He too was a convicted murderer on death row, but the circumstances surrounding it will remain a mystery, because I don't want to spoil it. Cable has survived 27 rounds of Slayers, which means he only has 3 left. If he makes it, he can finally go back to his wife and daughter. Of course, he hasn't been surviving on his own. He's being controlled by a gamer named Simon. At only 17 years old, Simon is the most famous gamer in the world, due to the success rates of Cable. But now, with his freedom on the line, Castle doesn't want Cable to succeed. It's Castle's game, and he can break all of the rules, including sending in a ringer. That's where Terry Crews comes in as Hackman, an absolute psychopath who kills just for the fun of killing. He has no one controlling him. No gamer, no strings attached. His only intention is to kill, and Cable is his target. Not only does Cable have to survive the slayers that are after him, but also this maniacal murderer sent by Castle. It's his deadliest adversary yet, and chances are, either way, it'll be his last. Gamer is a wildly good time. The excitement starts immediately and never lets up. The movie has an approximate runtime of just 35 minutes, which is actually kind of on the short side for something like this. There's almost no time to breathe. It probably could have been longer, but I'm not complaining. It's action-packed and genuinely scary at times. The parallels of the movie and what could actually happen in the real world are terrifying. If that concept doesn't scare you, especially with the direction society is headed, then you probably have your head in the sand. There is one gamer in particular that is so disgusting. The things he does or makes his game character do are downright disturbing. But again, the scariest part about that is how realistic it is. In addition to the copious nudity in Gamer, there is lots of blood and gore. There are shootings, stabbings, slashings, beatings, neck breakings, skull crushings, explosions. It's all so over-the-top brutal. Seeing how easy it is for the government or the higher-ups to control everything is horrifying. Gamer isn't just a satire, but a warning of what could come. If that's not horror, then I don't know what is. What's scarier? A masked murderer loose in one town? Or mind control over the entire world? I'll take my chances with the Michael Myers or Ghostface any day. That's why, for me, G is for Gamer in the ABCs of horror. Please be sure to support everyone else participating in the challenge. And if you'd like to join in, feel free. You can do this at your own pace. Just make sure you start with the letter A and you don't skip any letters on the way to Z. It doesn't matter how often you upload your reviews. This is supposed to be fun. Speaking of fun, have you seen Gamer? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. Which horror movie beginning with the letter H will I review for the ABCs of horror? Check back soon to find out. Until then, remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.